The Racoon Mountain Caverns is located just 7 minutes from downtown Chattanooga. It is Tennessee's highest rated cave, consisting of over 5.5 miles of explored and mapped passageways. It's not one of the most well-known commercial caves in Tennessee, and we couldn't understand why. After our family made a Sunday trip out and discovered just how amazing this place was, we wanted to tell everyone. So here's our video doing just that, letting everyone know Racoon Mountain Caverns is a must-see.
Hello.
Hola,
We are out here in Chattanooga, right?
Chattanooga.
Yeah, Chattanooga. And we're going where? You might ask? No, we're not going hiking. Oh, and you know those town videos you guys like? Yeah, we're not doing that either. So instead of all of that, seeing a waterfall? Yeah, that's not happening. And the big overlooks on the mountains? Yeah, we're not doing that either. We're doing this. The cave tour thing, yes. Right there at the bottom. See it right there? The one that says cave
expedition.
Yeah, we're doing that. All that. So
we're outside Chattanooga. We did not know about this place. It's a lesser known commercial cave, if you want to call it that. So we're coming to check that out because it's got a lot of good reviews. And now you're adjusting the camera.
Yeah, sorry.
We've already started.
I'm sorry. I let the team down.
Yeah, so
It's my fault.
that's what we're doing today.
Yay.
So technically it's caving,
Yeah, and there's walking involved, so a little
hiking,
bit of hiking.
and climbing. There's stairs.
There's stairs, yeah. So
And going down the stairs. It's got all of it.
It checks the boxes.
Yeah. So let's get on to it.
Oh, no.
To the cave.
This way. Well, cave that way.
I wasn't sure if you were gonna do it or not.
Yeah.
Everything's fine.
Hey.
So yes, if everybody wants to gather around this map right here, we're gonna go over a few things before we head in. And it feels cool in this room still, but I promise it will warm up when we get further in.
Huh?
There's a rock.
So can everybody see this map here? We can kind of slide in a little bit more if we need to. All right, so we actually have about 5.5 miles of cave mapped out. Wow. Now, basically from this side all the way to the left here, that is not actually owned by us. That's owned by Tennessee River Gorge, and we don't communicate with them too often. I'm not sure what or if they do anything with their side, but this is where we're starting today, and we're going to be doing this 1/4 mile loop right here, the green circle there. And on our walk, we'll actually get to see the first entrance, or I should say squeeze, into our trailer crawling tours. We have some wild cave expeditions. So we have a 2-hour one that goes all the way to this music room and circles back around, and then a 3.5 hour that goes back to this Elvis room. And so on that one, you would actually get to see a 70-foot waterfall. So we do have one in here. We just make you work for it. You have to squeeze, climb, crawl, do all the adventure stuff to get back there. And
How often do you do those?
Every day. So our 12:30 already went in, and our 10 o'clock obviously already went in. So the last one would be 2 p.m., which would be the 2-hour crawl. But yeah, so every day we have the 2-hour twice a day and the 3.5 hour once a day.
Dude, we gotta come back.
Yeah, you should come back and do it. They're really fun. And again, you'll get to see the smallest squeeze you'd have to go through on this tour, so you can kind of gauge what that would be like.
Apart from that squeeze, is there anything else like once you cross the squeeze?
Yeah, well, I've done lots of
So
wild
you
caves.
do some climbing up rocks, we go down some rock slides, but majority of it is walking in 60, 80 foot rooms, big rooms. But then you squeeze to get to the next room, things like that, yeah. And then we have some formations here. If you guys have been in caverns before, they'll sound familiar. If you haven't, we'll go over them as we see them along the way. Super simple stuff like the stalactites, stalagmites, columns, we will get to see this cave shield, which is a very special and cool formation, and I'll of course go over why it's so special. And then we'll get to see some fossils, these crinoids. So they have a long stem like a plant or a flower connected to the rocks at the bottom of oceans. And the ones in this cave here were from millions of years ago. They're actually primarily what the rock around us here is made up out of. Most of them are just so crushed up you can't really tell. So we'll see some bigger intact pieces like this later on. And then, of course, hopefully some living critters, salamanders. So we'll start with this bright orange cave salamander. So when you guys paid for the tickets, you agreed to a waiver that states you will not lick the salamanders, which sounds silly and gross, but if they were to be ingested for whatever reason, it could cause some nerve damage to us. So I would assume there's a story somewhere behind that.
Yes, because they wouldn't make the rule if somebody hadn't done it.
We have to put it in a written waiver and say it out loud. So don't be that person and lick the blue ones. Just kidding. Don't do that either. Don't lick any of the salamanders. But so we might see those orange ones, might see some blue slimies, and the slimies are pretty interesting because they are actually cannibals. So they'll eat each other, their friends and their siblings if they have to. They can even eat themselves. Their little tails will come off and they can eat that and it'll grow back. So very resourceful. They're not going to go hungry. Their preferred food source, though, or at least for most of them, is little gnats and flies that get in here, just some bugs. You might see some as we go along, as well as these cave crickets here. And we'll definitely see some cave crickets. They're kind of just everywhere in all the cracks and crevices. And these guys are actually deaf and blind. So when we do see some, you'll notice they have two long antennas that helps them feel around the cave. Then we'll go with the bat, because I do believe we have one in this room. But first, this board is actually wrong. Eastern pipistrelles only exist in Europe, so we have tricolored bats. They're one of the smallest species. They're like this big. They kind of look like little hamsters with wings. So let's see. Yeah, he's still over here. This, I believe, is Todd. Todd the bat here. Where's you guys on the front? Look right there. Oh, he's pocket-sized. Very tiny. Can everyone see where my finger shows?
And don't they get disturbed by people now?
I mean, they stay in these spots with all of us coming in and out, so some of them it must not bother them, and I guess the ones that it does bother, they just go find somewhere deeper in the cave. This one, I guess, likes attention, wants the people to see.
So I thought that bats are hibernating about, because we can't get permits to go into any of the wild caves right now because of the bats.
Actually are hibernating right now. Yeah, they just came in about 2-3 weeks ago maybe, and so they're gonna be in here all winter, and then in the springtime they'll go back out. But even in the summertime we'll have them hanging out, going in and out, but definitely going through their hibernation period.
How do you get out?
If you look actually above this exit sign, you can see some daylight coming through. They can probably
So they have their path, they have their access.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's all kinds of places in the cave that we don't even know about, like holes and crevices through the rocks that they can get out. We do have 5 main entrances into the cave that we know of, but again, they can squeeze through, I'm sure, all kinds of spaces that we don't even know, so. But yeah,
So there's not been a problem with the white nose
so
disease
far,
here?
we have not had white nose in our cave. I honestly think part of it could be due to the fact that we also just have a lot fewer bats, because some bat species, like I know there's the grave bats here in Chattanooga, they have colonies of up to 100,000 in there together. Ours are very territorial. They don't like to be super close to each other, so you might see 1 or 2 in the same room, but I feel like it's more rampant when you have huge colonies
numbers, yeah.
like that, yeah. But yeah, we've been very lucky to not have.
Well, that's from like trash.
Yeah.
They're pretty big.
You ever go with us in a wild cave? It's fun as hell, but yeah, you'll see how people have
But we're gonna come back
graffitied
to the
inside
boards
there.
here and go over 2 more animals. I will say these ones are a lot less likely to see, especially the Crystal Caverns cave spider. We very rarely see that one, which is probably a good thing, because they can potentially get to the size of a baseball in here, legs included.
Oh, that's
Huge.
nice.
So if we see one of that size, I'll be the first one running out of here, pushing past you guys, because I'm just kidding. They're extremely small. they could actually fit in the P in the word spider right there. So I was telling the truth when I said we very rarely see them, but it's because of how small they are. They're also translucent, which makes them blend in with the rocks even more. I've only ever seen a handful of them, and it was only in these crawling tours. But it's unfortunate we don't see them as often because this spider actually only exists in this cave. You can't find them anywhere else in the world.
Whoa.
They have not even seen them in other caves in Chattanooga here. So we just recently had one that I see in the canyon crawl here. She had a bunch of eggs hatch, which we were thrilled about because obviously with them being the only species here, we need them to reproduce. So we were so excited about that. And then lastly, the spring salamander we also won't be seeing, and that's because they have external gills when they're young. If you've ever seen axolotls, it looks kind of similar to the little feathery gills they have. So they like to stay in bigger, more active stream passages further back, hanging in deeper parts of the water all day. But are we ready to head further in where it's a little bit warmer, get started? So we're gonna head up a set of stairs. We have our first low-hanging rock to watch out for. We call this memory rock, because if you hit your head, you'll definitely remember it. So let's not do that and make sure you get down here.
Yeah, you can get that book if you want. Okay, so after all that fun information, we're making our way inside. Caving. Duck.
You're too short for that.
Oh, look at that.
You know what I didn't bring?
What? That's smart. Well, you couldn't use your flash anyways, so.
I can turn it off.
Ah, it's getting warmer. I felt the warmth.
Immediately when you step into this room here. It stays 58 degrees year round with about 80-85% humidity, so it gets toasty at times. But this is the Crystal Palace room here, which is one of the largest rooms in the cave, definitely the largest room we'll be going through today. And before I go over some of the formations and how the cave formed, I want to show you some funny or recognizable rocks. So right over here, this rock in the green light kind of resembles the Grinch. If you've ever seen how the Grinch stole Christmas, the little beard hanging down his nose, his eyeball. Over here, we have a
Look, it looks like Scar.
rhinoceros with a birthday hat on. So there's the horn there and the hat. And then straight across the Lord of the Rings towers, or if you're not familiar with the movies, just a big castle. So I'll be referencing these later on in the tour because it'll help understand where we are compared to where we started here. It'll place us a little bit better. But looking up at the ceiling now, all of this rock you see around us here is called limestone. And so limestone, again, is primarily composed of previous ocean floors from millions of years ago. So it's full of those crinoids I showed you on the board, as well as the other fossils on there, like the ammonites. And so initially, this had just been a solid mountain. These big rooms did not exist. But as we go throughout the tour, you might even already hear it in this room, there is some water seeping through. And if this water happens to drip on your head or shoulders throughout the tour, that is called a cave kiss, and it's worth 3 years of good luck. So count each of those cave kisses that hit you. We had a lot of rain last week, so there's been quite a bit in here. But what this is that rainwater that has seeped through. So before the rainwater actually reaches the rock outside and in the soil, it's picking up carbon dioxide. When those two mix, it creates carbonic acid. So then this acidic water seeps through existing cracks in the rock and basically expands those cracks or dissolves and eats away at the limestone, eventually over years and years finding out these cave rooms.
Yeah,
so
that's cute.
to put it simply, I like to think of it as getting a cavity in your tooth after drinking way too much soda over the years and not brushing your teeth, I suppose, as well. But these are large cavities. And so another thing that the water is picking up from the actual limestone, from the rock, is minerals, mostly calcite in this cave. So I'm sure you guys have noticed these little guys hanging from the ceiling here. We have named them soda straws because at this stage they're actually hollow inside. So if you were to snap one off, you could literally drink out of it like a straw. But if you look closely, they all have little drops of water on them, don't they? Well, we could stand here all day and all night. Definitely don't want to drink it, and I'll explain later why we don't want to drink the water. But yes, we could stand here all day and night, and we probably will not see any of them drip because they are growing extremely slow, about 1 inch every 100 years kind of slow. So these ones here are already probably about 100 to 200 years old. And so they will get bigger, of course, and once they are having more water, they will start to solidify, so that one's no longer hollow.
Okay, that's still growing or that?
Yeah, that's still growing, yep. And then they'll get to this size here. Can everybody see that one? For those of you in the back here, it's like these ones hanging down here. Can you see these? So we then call that a stalactite. It's like the big version of the soda straws. But then, in some areas, you might have bigger cracks in the rock or a constant water source outside, like a stream or a creek, that is pushing those droplets in a lot more rapidly and again constantly. And so those droplets will not stick up there, they'll hit the ground and start building up this way, like this base here. For those of you in the front, if you can look right here, it's like these ones where my flashlight is right there. And we call these stalagmites. And so, in case you're going to visit other caverns, I have a little saying to remember the difference between these two. So, stalactites hang tight to the ceiling. Stalagmites you might trip over because they're on the ground. So, eventually, in some areas, these stalagmites and stalactites might meet together in the same spot and continue to grow as one, which we call a column. So, any guesses as to how old you guys think this column might be?
Considering it grows 1 inch.
Thousands.
Millions. So I would say, yeah, getting in the millions. And if we look closely here where my finger shadow is, we have some sparkly calcite there, and that is that fresh, active formation. So we are one of the most active caves in the southeast here. We still have a lot of formation growing. So every time you see that, just keep in mind, that's that active formation. I know we have some right there. There's some growing all the way up this column here. And so again, that is why it's so important that we don't touch anything in here, because once we touch it, that won't be able to form anymore. All right, well, we are now going to have another set of stairs.
Here we are in the great unknown underneath the mountain rock, traveling through the cave. It's quite interesting. Actually, it's really cool. Look at all this stuff. Look at all. Dang.
That's a good picture too.
Don't touch anything though.
The nose, the chin, the mouth. Oh, it's got a cave piece right
Aw, lucky.
there. I will say though, you cannot intentionally stand under where you know it's dripping. That doesn't count. That's cheating.
Aw. Well, there goes my
Stand
idea.
Right here, point your camera there. It looks like
You
a
guys go
very
without me.
face. You might have to zoom out just a tiny bit. You see the eyes, the eyebrow, the nose, the chin, the mouth. I'll actually have you, if you don't mind, turning your light off for a second there so he can get this picture here. Yeah, do you see it? Are you able to see? A little goblin witchy face. Yeah, of course. All right, and if you guys want to get a picture as well, it's like a kind of a goblin face, and you only see through the phone. So if you stand right here and point it there, yeah, you got it. Do you see the green eyes, nose, a gaping mouth, and a big chin? Yeah, that's one of my favorite pictures in here.
That's pretty cool.
All right. So we're now on Leo's Overlook. Some people call this Lambert's Overlook. Doesn't really matter which one you say, it's the same person. So has everybody here at least heard of Ruby Falls and ever been to Ruby Falls? It's another cavern straight across from us. So if you've been there, that name should sound very familiar because he is who first discovered Ruby Falls. He also discovered this cave here. He discovered it in the early 30s, but originally in the early 20s, it is said that there were two boys who found the first room that we came to. We call that the discovery room. But again, this was the early 20s. They didn't have bright flashlights like we do now. Didn't have a lot of knowledge on caves. So this family of the boys living on the farm here, they were not about to go into this deep, dark hole on the side of the mountain with little to no lighting. So they kind of just left it be, until 1929 when Leo opened up the first public tours over at Ruby Falls. So when the farmers here heard of that, they had suspicions that they might have something very similar on their property here. So they got into contact with him and it did find similarities. So there was of course the first room that the boys had discovered, but I also think one of the biggest things was that we were saying earlier, it stays 50 degrees in here year round. In the summertime, that feels a lot cooler. I know today it feels much warmer, but there's different little cracks and holes, like we were talking about, that the bats can get through between the rocks. So in the summertime, that cool air in here actually pushes out of those cracks and holes. So in the summer, all of the cows living on the farm would gather at the base of the mountain where the cracks were to feel that cool air pushing out, kind of like AC. Very smart critters there. But eventually, I'm sure the farmers caught on and would also stand outside those areas to cool off. And so when they were explaining this, Leo was starting to realize at that time that when you have air pushing out, there has to be a large cavity on the other side. So once they made that connection, they kind of just handed it off to Leo, and he was the first one to discover the Crystal Palace room. And so he started the first public tours in 1931. If we look over here, past this state-of-the-art technology, keeping people off this pathway, just a little stick. It's not much to see, but there's a little staircase, and that staircase shortcuts you to a larger staircase. You probably noticed by the rhino at the birthday hat, the staircase was across from us, and so then those stairs bring you to the bottom. So it was about a 10-minute tour of just this room. Again, this was 1931, and at the time, Leo was charging about 75 cents, which today doesn't sound too bad, but in that time was really expensive. Not very many people were able to afford that, so eventually he was losing out on money, starting to go bankrupt, so he decided to sell the cave after having it almost 20 years. And so when he sold it, he went to two brothers called the Smith brothers. And so these two, I would say, were a little more observant of the formations in here, and maybe even had more background knowledge on cave geology. So we're actually going to try and gather around the ominous face over here and look at a formation. We might have to squeeze in a little bit, but we'll make it work.
Our tour guide right off the bat was very cool and very knowledgeable. She was great to interact with and encouraged conversation with everyone in our small group. Then, as we began our trip into the caverns, we were amazed at the scenery around us. The formations were stunning. Flowstones, stalactites, and the usual cave architecture was there, and I was blown away by how active the cave still was. And the lighting was much dimmer than the typical commercial caves that we've explored, but that simply added to the beauty and ambiance of the caverns.
Yeah, I would have way past. No, I've been here a few years though. I kind of lived all over. Most of my family originates from way up north though, like Minnesota, Wisconsin, Michigan. So. But I've lived in the South long enough to now find it cold outside.
This is perfect. Right now.
Yeah. But as you see here, we have a pool in front of us. And this is naturally occurring. We often see water seeping through this crack here. We also have some more of that flowstone, the same formation the Smith brothers had noticed. So when these Smith brothers opened up this extended walking tour in the early 50s, they had used a lot of their money on dynamite and other supplies to make this new walkable pathway. So they saw this pool as an opportunity to tell their guests that this is the wishing well. Go ahead and throw your extra coins in here. Make as many wishes. And of course, they come in every night, scoop out the coins, and take it home with them. Eventually, though, past when the Smith brothers had it, people continued to throw them, and they weren't worth as much, so they were just getting left in here. And over the years, that eventually made the water toxic to salamanders. Some of the salamanders, like the orange cave ones, breathe through their skin. They have little pores all over, so the water was not good for them. Once we realized this, we of course scooped out the coins, and now every so often we'll see a salamander or two in here, which shows these cleanup efforts are working. Hopefully as we continue to keep it clean, we'll see more and more.
And is that where the squeeze comes out? Like, does it come from
So it was more back that way, like after the tunnel where you could kind of stand up again, there's a little squeeze back there. But I do want to talk about this spot here. So maybe I'll have you guys guess actually, how far do you think we are underground right now? Which is kind of a trick question, I would say.
30 feet?
That's a great, yeah, about 15, 20, 25 feet underground. And we're not going to get much further than that because we are a horizontal cave, which means we don't do a big descent down. We kind of already started at the base of the mountain and just walked into it. So the rock and mountain will grow above us, but we're not necessarily further from where we started. So there's one point halfway through the tour where we're only still about 30 feet underground, but then we have 120 something feet of mountain rock above us. So right here specifically, if we had some dynamite like the Smith brothers and were crazy enough to blast to that corner, you would see the backside of your cars in the parking lot. So we're not saying, hey, this is what the cave looks like from the outside. That's about where we are. And to show you this next thing, we might have to kind of rotate and take turns, but looking at my finger shadow right here, we have some stringy tree roots hanging down. So those are from one of those trees outside. Oh, wow. So once you guys have got a look, I'll have everyone kind of rotate. So that's it.
I've seen like in Mexico the cenotes like that. It's like a sinkhole with the
Yeah.
trees will go through the branches.
Yeah, especially in the discovery room, the first room we came in. When we go back, I can shine my light, and especially because there we're really close to the surface, you can see a lot of roots. Sometimes, like in the springtime, I've seen it twice now. There's a little mushroom that will grow in that room as well. It grows in like a little U-shoot. But I think this really puts it into perspective that we're not very far underground right here. So did everybody get
Very
a chance
cool.
to see the roots that were on the
Yep.
Or maybe if you guys wanna, yeah.
We definitely took a lot of pictures on this trip. Sometimes the video just doesn't capture the beauty of the colored lights on the formations just right, especially in this dimmer light. However, neither medium, whether video or still photography, fully captures the scenic atmosphere within the caverns. No, to fully appreciate the beauty of these formations, you must come and visit the place in person.
Whoa. So I've switched to my iPhone because the GoPros don't do so well in the dark. Look at that. The drapes, the flow stone right there. Awesome.
Yeah,
Oh, look at this. Like a chandelier hanging right there. There's flow stone right there.
Or we often see salamanders in this room, so sometimes salamander rock. I have not been seeing them here lately though. The last few weeks they've been spread out all over the place. Not really in this area, so. But yeah, were you guys back there able to see going ahead rock there? There's the eyeball, mouth, beard, foot's over here, especially in the green light there.
Would you do the lights off at night? Like
So yeah, I've actually been clicking little light switches as we go along that are on timers. So even
Oh, look.
after we're done in here, a few minutes later, I mean we have some
Look.
during
See
the
how
day
active that
run
one still
all
is.
day, but then
See the drips.
portable ones are on timers, but then yes, at
Definitely
night,
don't want to touch this.
Yes, that way for the animals, like the salamanders and everything, they can have the natural environment of the bats. So, were you guys back there able to see Go On Ahead Rock?
Yeah. We're just amazed by the flow stone here. And
Oh, there's a cave cricket right there too, where my finger shot
I just got kissed.
There's a cave cricket in that corner as well.
Just got kissed.
Some baby
I don't see shell here.
crickets there. Oh, there's some baby ones there too.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, we often, when we do see the salamanders here, we call this the buffet or snack bar because the crickets will munch on a bacteria actually. If you notice this speckly, kind of reflective, spotty stuff all over the rock, that is a bacteria called actinomyces, and that's what the cave crickets eat. And the salamanders will eat the cave crickets. Some of the salamanders, like the slimies, we know eat each other. So it's the snack bar. Everybody gets a snack. I actually don't think they would eat definitely not the orange ones. I think that they would hopefully be smarter than that, but I don't know. I guess they could, but I think they'd more so munch on like mosquitoes and just little tiny bugs. But, alright, we are gonna head down this next hallway, but I will say we have a very intense low-hanging rock coming up that I call guillotine rock, and you'll know what I mean when you see it, so please watch your head.
Sweet.
Which is not surprising. It's kind of a terrible spot. Yeah.
This is definitely one of the darker caves that we've been in as far as commercial caves. It's not very well lit. I mean, it's cool because the ambiance is awesome. I really like it, but the GoPros are having trouble.
There's probably some kind of gnat or bug that got into here. So that's what the salamanders and the bats are there. Just make sure you watch your head right there for that rock.
Yeah.
I see. It makes sense.
Oh! Look. Look at this one. It's still active. It's dripping from right there.
Nobody told me about this rock.
So he's been to, this is his 36th cave he's been to. So
Wow.
we wouldn't be able to impress.
Oh, this one's still active. She's right about how much is still active in here. That's a pretty young column right there.
So yes, we have this other pool in front of us. We call it the reflection pool, which is a very fitting name. Obviously it's reflective, but its reflectiveness also makes it appear a lot deeper than it is. If I shine my flashlight on it, it's only about 2 to 3 inches of a pool. Very shallow. And this is where I like to talk about the cave water and why we don't want to drink it. So it's full of a lot of magnesium sulfate, which I call nature's laxative. So 1 cup of cave water is equivalent to about 5-ish cups of medical grade milk of magnesia. So you're having a crappy time if you drink this water, quite literally. Quite literally.
So it's technically crystals.
But we do have a fun opportunity in this room, and it is totally optional. But I have a little switch next to me where I can cut off all the lights in this area and experience
Oh, yes,
total
do it.
darkness. But we'll have to have phones and watches and
Okay.
everything turned.
Be back. Oh my god. You guys are going so slow.
Eventually.
No, I've been here a few years though. I kind of lived all over. Most of my family originates from way up north though, like Minnesota, Wisconsin, Michigan, so. But I've lived in the South long enough to now find it cold outside.
This is perfect Minnesota weather right now.
Yeah. But as you see here, we have a pool in front of us. And this is naturally occurring. We often see water seeping through this crack here. We also have some more of that flowstone, the same formation the Smith brothers had noticed. So when these Smith brothers opened up this extended walking tour in the early 50s, they had used a lot of their money on dynamite and other supplies to make this new walkable pathway. So they saw this pool as an opportunity to tell their guests that this is the wishing well. Go ahead and throw your extra coins in here, make as many wishes. And of course, they come in every night, scoop out the coins and take it home with them. Eventually though, past when the Smith brothers had it, people continued to throw them and they weren't worth as much, so they were just getting left in here. And over the years that eventually made the water toxic to salamanders. Some of the salamanders, like the orange cave ones, breathe through their skin. They have little pores all over, so the water was not good for them. Once we realized this, we of course scooped out the coins. And now every so often we'll see a salamander or two in here, which shows these cleanup efforts are working. Hopefully as we continue to keep it clean, we'll see more and more.
And is that where the squeeze comes out? Like when they come from
So it was more back that way, like after the tunnel where you could kind of stay like there's a little squeeze back there. But I do want to talk about this spot here. So maybe I'll have you guys guess actually, how far do you think we are underground right now? Which is kind of a trick question, I would say.
30 feet?
That's a great, yeah, about 15, 20, 25 feet underground, and we're not going to get much further than that because we are a horizontal cave, which means we don't do a big descent down. We kind of already started at the base of the mountain and just walked into it. So the rock and mountain will grow above us, but we're not necessarily further from where we started. So there's one point halfway through the tour where we're only still about 30 feet underground, but then we have 120 something feet of mountain rock above us. So right here specifically, if we had some dynamite like the Smith brothers and were crazy enough to blast through that corner, you would see the backside of your cars in the parking lot. So when I was saying, hey, this is what the cave looks like from the outside, that's about where we are. And to show you this next thing, we might have to kind of rotate and take turns, but looking at my finger shadow right here, we have some stringy tree roots hanging down. So those are from one of those trees outside. Oh, what? So once you guys have gotten a look, I'll have
We'll see that when we get over there.
rotate. So that's it.
I've seen like in Mexico the cenotes like that. So it's so cold with the
Yeah.
they'll go through the branches.
Yeah, especially in the discovery room, the first room we came in. When we go back, I can shine my light, and especially because there we're really close to the surface, you can see a lot of roots. Sometimes, like in the springtime, I've seen it twice now. There's a little mushroom that will grow in that room as well. It grows in like a little U shape. But I think this really puts it into perspective that we're not very far underground right here. So did everybody get a chance to see the roots that I wanted to?
Yeah. Okay, moving on.
Over the years, we visited several commercial caves from Kentucky, Texas, Virginia, and here in Tennessee. Many were near theatrical, with vast budgets, advertising campaigns, fancy lights, and special effects to showcase and enhance the natural beauty of their caverns. And I'm not even mentioning the many wild caves that we've explored. We've enjoyed all the caverns we've seen, and we've recommended just about every one of them. However, there was something different about Racoon Mountain. It was the more intimate feel, the casual tone from the guide. We never felt rushed. There seemed no time constraints as we admired formations and discussed each one. No special effects or fancy lights were needed. Racoon Mountain Caverns shined in a different type of light, and it was brilliant.
My shadow. Oh, that's actually a good idea.
Just be careful of the puddle.
Uh-oh, we got water.
One just fell from that too. We just not feeling it. Mine was coming through much better.
Did you get another page? What? Did you get another page yet? Yeah, I got two so far.
There's a puddle of water. Where? Up ahead.
Check that out.
Where are my skate shoes? They left it, I think.
Yeah, that's because we're being slow.
I'm not being slow.
R2, whoa.
Helmet on the proper gear.
Oh, okay. I just want to get experience of how it is because, you know,
We
very
do, in the gift shop,
claustrophobia.
we have a picnic table, and we estimate that the seat of the picnic table, you probably saw it in the middle of the room. If you can crawl under that, we estimate it's about the same as this. So if you want to
And how
go
long,
after,
how much length is it?
this one is only about 4 feet, and then you swing your legs over, lower down 3 feet, and then you can stand up again.
Oh, okay, so you just go in and you turn around.
So this is not necessarily hardest, this is smallest mandatory. So there are ones that are this small, but they do go on longer. But this is a small, like height-wise, that you would have to do. There are optional squeezier ones. You can
Those
do,
are optional.
they
You
are
can walk
optional,
around
yes. You can walk around it, yes, but this one is.
This is the entrance
small
for
in size,
the.
you have to
The
do.
wild
I'm
cave
gonna
tour?
slide down so you guys can look where my flashlight is. That is the main entrance into the crawling tours.
I can do that.
Yep, that's how you do the waterfall as well as the 2-hour one. We use the same entrance for both of them.
And is there like any recommended dress wear, like obviously jeans?
Yeah, you can wear jeans, but you're required to wear long pants and long sleeves. And then we provide gloves, knee pads. You can use them as elbow pads, helmets, and head
And
vestments.
how dirty is it?
It is pretty dirty, especially depending on the season. If you come in
Rough
this, yeah, do not bring your nice clothes, your nice shoes. Depending what time it is, we might actually see a group come out.
Oh, we should turn off the lights. I'm freaking out.
They have headlamps, so.
How many lumens are their headlamps, do you
Do
know?
what?
How many lumens are their headlamps, do you know?
I don't actually. They're pretty bright though.
Mine's 2,000.
Yeah, we got some.
It's not a competition, but
LED on battery?
Yes.
On their own,
So
like, a whole day?
they're charged ones, but we also I bring an extra one for each person in my
Okay.
backpack. So we bring extras. We're not gonna slide through here.
We should, I know, I thought, I didn't know this one had it, we should have done it today.
I already said cave crawling tour. My mom
We
said
should,
hell no.
we should done it today, like, you know, this is, you come here, you do this.
Yes, yeah.
Watch your heads up ahead.
You come to a cave to do that.
Check that out. Yeah, flowy. It's flowy.
But she said this is
Huh?
okay.
Yeah, I love caves. I love the formations. Check that. Yeah. Check out this big old. Let's see. Is it touching? Yeah, so that would be a column. But look at the base on this sucker. I like how we got this little shelf right here. No, I'm.
Yes, yeah. But if you guys want to come up at Quick Fossils, we have some of those crinoid fossils I showed you on the board, the little ocean animals. So there's a stem piece there. They kind of look like little screws, or just, there's a shell there. So again, these predate the cave. They were here before the mountain was in the cave.
Drapey column right
What
there.
about owl lights? Are you gonna see any owl lights?
Ammonites, on the crawling tour, I will say you get to see one. There might be one, we just haven't spotted one.
Yeah, it's not a good idea.
We do know one in the crawl tour.
Yeah, I'm waiting to get up there so I get a close up.
Huge. I've heard in the woods near here that there's huge ones. Crinoids, yeah. And these are really easy to find around here, like in creek beds. I've found them in North Georgia before, actually. So right there's a stem piece there. They look like little screws. Lots of flies as well. Salamander food. Yeah, very, very active. Yeah.
Be back.
Yes, I will look into that. Is it just posted on the website for time?
Yes, and we actually just started allowing one person to
You
go.
see
Used to, like, if you were one person, you had to go with, like,
how active these things still are.
the public, but now, if there's no one on it and it's just you still, go on there. We just started doing that. But this, I have heard many names. I have heard Salamander Pizza Parlor, Shrek's House, Yoda's Hut, Fairy House. If you look, there's actually cups and plates right there for the salamanders to get their pizza. Little disco dance floor lights in the back there. Never actually seen a salamander here though. They must come after we leave. I also think it looks like a big tree trunk coming down from the ceiling. Oh, I wonder. Actually, yeah, there's another bat if you guys can see.
Oh, I see it now.
They're so fluffy, it makes you really just want to give them a little tickle.
Remember that one time I slipped in the cave and he was like right there and he's like,
That happens sometimes in the crawls when we don't know where they are yet and you look and then
yeah, I just slipped right through the hole and he was like right there. Oh, hi.
I'm jealous of how close her phone gets to me.
Yeah, her camera, the one on her phone, is amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly, yeah.
you're almost, look at that. You can almost count the hairs on this.
Yeah, they
Their
go out at
bodies.
night. Not right now, but like, not in their hibernation
So
period.
this dog like fell down?
It could have fallen down, I will say, and someone might have broken that one. Way in the early times when they first discovered the cave, before they really knew the science behind everything, you're allowed to just break it off and pay at the gift shop, which is so insane. It makes you wonder how much of this was just broken off by people. But I will say for our cave specifically, because of how much active formation and everything we still have, I feel like they must have put rules in place pretty early on. To still have as much as we do. But watch your heads on the stairs here. We have some very, very sharp stalactites coming down.
Look at that. You could tell where the old part has been broken off, and now you got that drip right there. It's starting, a new formation is growing. Right where it's dripping, after it's been broken off. Whoops, we're being left behind. So,
So we're in the sand castle room now. All these little sand castle-esque formations over here. Or has anybody here ever seen SpongeBob before?
once or twice.
Well, look right here. We have the whole Bikini Bottom. There's SpongeBob's pineapple, Squidward's house, and Patrick's rock. I swear the creator took this tour and stole the idea. Because where else do you think of a pineapple under a sea? This looks like a pineapple. This was once the sea floor. You can't prove me wrong. Next time you watch it, remember where it came from. Because even right here, there's the chum bucket right next to me. Behind SpongeBob's house, there's the Krusty Krab. Gary the snail is in between SpongeBob's house right there. It looks exactly like it. So, remember it came from Racoon Mountain. But we have another fun optional opportunity up ahead here, but you have to promise me after this you will not touch anything else in the cave, but we do have one spot where it's okay. Under this bright green LED light, we have some clay, some cave clay. So if you want to stick your finger in, just don't lick or eat the clay. It has that magnesium sulfate. And don't take any with you either. But if you're wanting to do the crawl, this is what you would be crawling through. A lot of this clay here, that's what you would be covered in. So don't wear your nice clothes, as I was explaining earlier.
You're doing videos, I'm doing pictures.
Well, I thought you were doing videos too.
Here too, but I'm trying to get some shots too. Can't hold both cameras.
Well, this one's been doing the still photography stuff.
Someone wants you to leave.
So if you want to kind of relay to them back there that that's the video's overlook, we are re-entering Crystal Palace.
Okay.
Yeah, so we were looking at it from that side coming. And
Oh,
then talking
coming
about the
in?
gate,
Oh, okay.
going
Yeah,
down
yeah,
the
yeah.
cave, that's the original entrance.
We'll go that way.
I will say too, at the bottom of Crystal Palace room, I have a really great spot where I'll get a picture of each group that one. Thank you. That way everybody can.
Wow. Holy cow. Look at that. That's just
We
amazing.
will see the back, but then here we
Of
right
course.
The stairs there is the right off the birthday hat. Straight in front of you where my flashlight is that castle or the World Wings Tower. So we're now on the opposite side of the Crystal Palace room. Yep, yeah, right over there. That first
These
big
formations in this place are stunning.
What is the sign in the room?
Look at that. All those flow stone there. It's just all that right there. Look at that. Look at this right here.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. Some of our cave guides.
Oh my god.
Pictures where it's like at nighttime too, there's this hole and she's like, that's the hole I just repelled down. I'm like, see, I'm a squeeze person.
I'm kind of glad I switched to the iPhone because it's really the GoPros just can't do well in the dark, and it's just not getting me. The phone is getting. This is just amazing. You got to see this.
These cave shields are special because there's only about 84 known caves to have these in them. So, as I was saying earlier, Tennessee has over 10,000 caves. So only 84 caves in the U.S. having these is a very low number. And the formation itself is still a bit of a mystery. Nobody is quite exactly sure how they're forming. There's a lot of theories out there, some really strong ones, but they're still kind of working on this one. And in a second here, we'll step down and look at the backside, and you'll see why people are still perplexed about this science.
I was going to ask you.
Yeah, bacon! Hey, bacon right there, yeah. Yeah, we have a good one. Because I probably can't really describe my life through that one. I know when I can describe my life through it, it's like really big. And then I'll have everybody look at the backside because it looks much different from the front.
Wow.
Which again is why there's still little
Yeah, I
reflective
thought
powers.
it would be fixed to the wall, but this is really
It's just
hanging.
barely hanging off by the one formation. And these bottom pieces look broken off because they were. Some teenager ran down the stairs, jumped up, and slapped them off, which is.
I would have slapped him.
I know, extremely unfortunate. Probably hundreds to thousands of years they
Right
broke
there,
off.
yeah.
But I will say, because it's a solid rock, we imagine it's possible at some point for it to get too heavy and kind of snap itself off. So although we don't thank the teenager who did that, they did kind of take up some weight to where it'll last a little longer, but we would of course never intentionally done that. It's one of those you have to just look at the bright side of things.
This was recent, you say?
What was that?
Teenager
Teenagers jumped, ran down the stairs.
That was something recent or some?
I want to say, I don't know exact, I would say maybe 80s or 90s, maybe, yeah. Yeah.
You gonna take your picture? It's kind of a cool, like,
Yeah, sure, yeah. So we call that the snake pit, and not because of snakes, it's just kind of a way to deter people.
Okay.
I love it. Top of the stairs, there's some big things.
Look at that room right there.
We're gonna have to start a turf war here, people.
Yeah, you can't stick your hand right there.
Wow, look at this. Your wife says.
So I'm saying turf war.
That's why Ian said we're gonna start a turf war.
Look how they're just like waving with their
Yeah. Yeah, nobody wants to walk with us. Going up. Whoa. Wow. Look at that huge flowstone right there. Look at it, starting right there, going right across, all the way over there. Oh, wow.
He's not kissed. He doesn't like it.
But
Wow.
two last formations to go over. So the first one we actually just passed on the stairs. Your shadow is. You may have noticed it's actually going over the brick founded stairs. So because it's large stairs, they originally going to this one's right here. So in addition to this grandfather formation. However, with the growth that is over the stairs, we now know it's not one of the oldest, but instead just growing much faster. They estimate 3 feet every 80 years, which in human terms is
That sounds
really
wild.
fast. Yeah, and we get that estimate because it's about 3 feet of formation over those brick stairs that were put in about 80 years ago. So this just goes to show the huge formations may not be the oldest. You can never really tell because this one could be much older than these little ones by the castle right here. So I have a theory it's probably a water source that was throughout that area that's just constantly putting water in, and when it rains, even more water. So the last formation, you guys mentioned this earlier. Pulling home one is the cave bacon. So 2 bacon strips.
Oh, yeah.
Cave bacon, yeah. And next to it, the little bumpy ones I call cave popcorn. So we have bacon and popcorn. Are you guys back there?
Oh, yeah.
Able to see the
Yeah, I got it.
Cave bacon can get huge, like floor to ceiling. So
I am amazed by the number of formations in this cave.
it's incredible. It's incredible. You need to see the wild cave too. 'Cause you'll be
We definitely have to make that.
like the colorful lights are really cool. It makes for a neat experience. But seeing the cave just completely natural like that is.
As we approached the conclusion of our tour, we couldn't help but feel a little bummed to be leaving these beautiful caves. We marveled at all the visual fireworks around us. These formations were on a whole different level compared to so many others. Yet, Racoon Mountain sits modestly outside Chattanooga, relatively unknown outside this local area. In a way, this exclusivity helps preserve not only the formations inside the caves, but also helps it maintain its charm and uniqueness.
Okay. I feel like we're halfway through this tour. This place is sick. Look at that. Yeah.
If you want to relay to them back there, that's what goes over. We are re-entering Crystal Palace.
Where we were before.
Yeah, so we were looking at it from that side coming, and then talking about the gate.
Oh, okay.
Going down the cave, that's the original entrance.
I will say too, at the bottom of the Crystal Palace room, I have a really great spot where we have a picture of each group that one. That way everybody can have a picture.
We were up there.
Do you want to still?
You're still picture.
Stairs there is the right
I don't know what that means
birthday
either.
hat straight in front of you where my flashlight is that castle or the Lord of the Rings tower. So we're now on the opposite side of the Crystal Palace room.
You were looking from there, no?
Yep,
It's
yeah.
nice to have someone that loves Lord of the Rings. That's a big rock right there. Dang. Just kidding. That's not my real voice. I'm sorry. False advertisement.
This cave is just has been amazing. I can't believe, as long as we've lived here, that we have not known about this place.
And we've hiked here.
Yeah, we've hiked the top of the mountain, but we didn't know that this was right underneath.
Even though we passed like 3 signs that tell
Yeah,
us that the cave's
yeah.
here. Which,
Yeah.
that's ironic.
Yeah, we're not very observant, but we highly recommend this place. This place has just been. I mean, this ain't the exit video, but
We're not taking
I just had to, because we're near the end. Yeah, I just had to say, the number of formations and still live formations that are still happening in this place is stunning.
We gotta do the crawling cave.
Yeah, we're gonna come back for the crawling cave.
Yes, you will.
Yes, you will. Someday.
We're Ruby Falls is actually Ruby Falls.
Someday.
But yeah, so
To the cave board, especially because you're visiting a lot of
crazy.
it's pretty good.
It's a beautiful place. Y'all need to check it out. Be back.
Right side here, there's some rock
It's empty space.
love hurts sometimes.
And here's where we go out.
They had one right here for a while, but that one might be that one. Tried to get a little bit further away from everyone. But, oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that. So, we just completed this little quarter-mile loop right here. Service is bad. My bad. No worries. We saw some crinoid fossils, and we saw some cave crickets. We saw many, many bats, and who knows, the spider could be crawling on you. Just kidding. I hope everybody enjoyed the tour. I'm going to put my flash halfway here, and we will unfortunately head back out to the cold weather.
So you said the 3 hour, the full tour, the one that goes to the water, the
Yeah.
Be back, y'all.
That's only once a day in the morning.
Yes, we reached the end of our tour, but the enjoyment we experienced here would last a lifetime. I'm so glad to share days like this with so much of my family. After leaving the caverns, we of course checked out the gift shop and hung out a bit more with the staff and our tour guide. All were simply friendly and amazing. I especially appreciated how they seemed more focused on making sure we all enjoyed ourselves and our visit, and weren't so focused on just taking our money. That kind of approach, I believe, will keep people coming and returning. I know we sure will.
And what just... Hi!
That was fun. Did you guys enjoy that? Are you,
Sounds my eye.
you
My penny.
Oh,
There's
Lord.
already a shortage and you dropped one. So that was
So,
cool.
That was way more amazing than I thought it was going to be.
Totally.
I don't know how this place is not more known than it is.
Yeah, really. And there's more cave stuff
Yeah.
to be done in that
Yeah,
cave.
That was just the small part of it. That was just some Crystal Palace, is that what they called it?
Yeah.
That was the small part of it.
Yeah, we highly. Where are you at? Where are you at? Get in.
Yeah,
There
yeah,
you go.
yeah.
Yeah, I highly recommend this cave.
Yeah.
Check it out. And we'll, look up the name on the thing up here, wherever it's
Yeah,
gonna be
we'll
at,
put all
or
that
down
in there.
there.
Yeah.
Then you guys can check it out for yourself.
Yeah. And if you really wanted to make it a big adventure, there's also behind the camera a campground, so you can stay here.
Hold on, let me do the whole.
Yeah.
It's right there. See it?
It's all part of the Racoon Mountain thingy, where they got the cave up here, right there,
way.
and then you got the campground down there. There's swimming pools and stuff. Of course, you're not going to swim now because it's rather cold.
So yeah,
So yeah, this is a huge recommended place right
this
here.
gets a 9.
Yeah, the staff was
Amazing.
There was a cat,
yeah. There was a cat.
and there was bats,
Yeah, there was bats.
and it was cool.
Believe it or not. even
And it's
though-
cold.
Yeah, it's
Very
Not in the
very
cave.
cold.
The cave's nice.
I also lied. The cold does bother me anyway.
Well, you're not Elsa, so
Yeah, so all that. So anyways, if you like this video, we'll do a lot more like this. Of course we're gonna do it, whether you like it or not. So you're just gonna have to stick around for the ride,
So you might
yeah?
as well just go ahead and subscribe.
And hit that like and
If
that
you
little
don't
bell.
subscribe-
Uh-oh,
If
here
you
it
don't
comes.
subscribe, I'm gonna come to your house and eat all of your Dr. Pepper cotton candy.
What if they don't have cotton?
Yeah.
Then
Then
all
you
of
have to
your-
go buy it.
All your candy. I'll take all your candy.
Just whatever candy's in your house
Yeah.
is gonna eat it.
Yeah, so if you don't like all that happening, hit that like and subscribe. So better do it because she's serious.
Yeah, she's feral. See?
So we'll see you guys next time. So stay hiking, stay safe, and we'll catch you guys on the next one.
Yeah. Keep your stick on the ice.
Yeah,
Adios.
that's it.
Yes, our adventure today came to an end, and what an adventure it was. We cannot recommend a visit to Racoon Mountain Caverns enough. It's not like other commercial cave attractions, but that's what makes Raccoon Mountain so unique and awesome. It truly is a little-known Tennessee gem. So from our family to yours, we wish you health and happiness. We'll see you all in our next adventure.